Hey, what is going on, pros and PROesses? It's KMJNH123 and welcome to another sit-down commentary session again. Letting the old COD 4 gameplay play in the background again. Domination on Ambush. The final score is 36-11. So here we are for another topic talk video. Today's topic will be: do you actually learn anything in primary school / college / university? So there's a bit of obviously there's a bit of things to explain in here to start off with. Obviously, I know again if you're I always say this in my commentaries, but it's a good point. If you're in a different country, I'm not sure how your school is systemed. Maybe you start from lower and then middle, upper, higher up. I'm not sure how it works in different countries, but in the UK, I'm specifically talking about primary school, which is when you're like younger. High school when you're there from about I think 13 to about 12, 13 to about. Oh yeah, well, you stay till you're 18 now in the UK, but you used to be, till you were 16, 17, and then obviously university is obviously further study when you're like older or whatever. So bear with me. So first things first, in primary school, you do learn the basic things. You obviously learn what a number is. You learn all those basic things because when you're young, you don't know anything. You don't know what plus is. You don't know what subtraction is. You don't know what this is. You don't know what a plant. You know what I mean? You don't really know what any of that stuff is. So I mean, in primary school you do learn a vast majority of stuff. You learn how to basic it up, you learn how to do this, you learn how to do that, and you learn how to do a fair amount of stuff, which is fine in primary school. But at the same time, I still remember in my primary school days, teachers used to copy from a book copy it to a board, and then made us copy it from the book, from the board into our book. So basically it was copying from a book to book, and I was like, how is that learning? And this was, I think this was in a history lesson a few times. It was about some Tutankhamun guy. I don't know. Well, yeah, I know who Tutankhamun is, but like it was some rubbish on it, which I've now forgotten because it was irrelevant. You know what I mean? And that happens a fair bit in different lessons, and not every lesson was about learning stuff. Some lesson was a lot of not stuff you needed to really learn. And I know obviously they still need to teach various, they still need to teach the varied like subjects and stuff, because obviously different people want to do different things. But at the same time, a lot of some stuff was unnecessary, some stuff was just, not thing. But for the vast majority of primary school stuff, you do learn an interesting amount of stuff. But like I was saying, time and time, you just get stuff. You would just get, taught stuff that wouldn't be really interesting, or not so much interesting, but stuff you just forget about, But I mean, you are young back then, you do develop a lot of skills. But I mean, high school is where it gets interesting, because there is a lot of subjects. You choose your subjects you want to do in like the later years and stuff, so it's interesting. So when you first start in high school, again, talking for the UK, but when you start, you have to do every subject. You have like, I'm not even going to go through the subjects, but you have like, I mean, it varies from school to school again, but I know when I first started high school, we obviously had English, science, maths, we had, the usual PE, RE, and physical education and all this, but we had other stuff as well. We had like, I think it was called guidance, which was like life skills, which was actually a decent lesson, because that's a lesson that I don't think a lot of schools really have, like just life skills, like a guidance class, it was really useful, it's really interesting. And then you've got like other lessons, I can't even go. You've got like music and stuff like that, and I think music, unless I know again, it's teaching you just stuff about it, but everything I remembered doing in high school about music is just gone out of my head, and it's just been irrelevant. And you know what I mean? And I know it's just certain stuff they teach you, like, oh, you now know what a music syllable is and stuff, and you didn't know what it was called before. I'm like, come on, you know what I mean? I would have guessed what it was anyway. A syllable, you know what I mean? I would have knew what it was in a way, but I don't know. I mean, but then when you get to the later years, you drop them lessons you don't want to learn, because obviously you only study stuff you want to do. For example, I dropped obviously, well, a lot of people dropped obviously music and this, that, and stuff like that. And I studied ICT and like design tech and all that stuff as well, which was what I was into, so I was interested in that stuff. But I mean, for certain, but even when I was studying like ICT and stuff, a lot of the stuff was just rubbish. It was just like, do a Word document on this, and yes, I know it was getting to learn to use Word, but by the time we had done so many and used it already for various things, we knew how to use Word and stuff, and it wasn't. See, when I'm talking about learning, I actually mean to learn decent stuff, like not just do textbook rubbish or just copy from a book. I mean proper good learning. Like, I mean, I've got a story when I jumped to the college, college side of it. But you know, in high school it is mixed and it is varied. But certainly a lesson like guidance and stuff, you do learn stuff. But again, majority of lessons and certain lessons were just copying from textbooks, copying from this, copying from that. And it's just a waste of time. We just didn't learn stuff. And again, I don't want to blame certain teachers or blame certain people because, you know, it's not right. But sometimes it is certain teachers and it is certain teaching styles. But, you know, again, I don't really want to blame. And just obviously, if you're in higher sets, it's different work. Again, if you're in lower sets, it's obviously a different grade of work. So it is interesting. But, I don't know, high school was mixed like that. But now we'll jump to college. So when you're college, you obviously choose a subject you want to do. Now, again, I done 1 year at college. I didn't really want to go to college because I thought it was a waste of time. I done 1 year at college, and well, yeah, it was a waste of time. I found out. So a lot of the work in my ICT class was a lot of not textbooks work, but it was a lot of creating documents on how to use programs, and I just found that not really the thing to do because I know they said, oh, you know, you've got to prove you know how to do it by writing down of how to do it on Word document, but I'm like, if I want to write it down on how to do it on a Word document, that's what bloody Google's for or YouTube's for. If I don't know how to use something on, I don't know, my phone, or there's a hidden feature, or I don't know how to use, I don't know, something on my Photoshop, or I forget, I just look online. It's modern technology, it's what it's there for. But at the same time, they didn't teach us how to physically, you know, use all these photos. They didn't say to us, you know, create a, you know, a picture of this, and using these different tools. You know, it would just be write a PowerPoint on how to do it, and then they'd make you do it step by step. And I didn't really find doing stuff step by step really, you know, really like done it, because you couldn't really just create. You really had to screenshot everything and explain and do lots of stupid arrows with speech bubbles saying do this. I'm like, come on guys, can't you just? I mean, can't we just do it and then show you, you know, a finished work? Because if you have a finished work, then it's proof that we've done it. And I will give you an example. I was in a Photoshop lesson, yeah. I personally don't like Macs. I think they're a pain in the arse. I much prefer Windows PC for using Photoshop. But anyways, so we're in a Photoshop lesson. It was called a Photoshop lesson. Literally, it was a Photoshop unit, and that's the day I just lost all hope in the subject. And the teacher said to us, create a document in Photoshop of how to create a document. And I was like, what? How does that make sense? And they were like, oh, yeah, you've got to use Photoshop you've got to use Photoshop to create a text-based document in Photoshop of how to do that. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, you want us to create a worded text document, which you could use Microsoft Word for, in Photoshop of how to do what we just done? That's the day I just lost all hope. I think there was another one as well. It was how to create a poster, but how do it and how. But make it in Photoshop. So I was like, why have we got to show how to make a poster in Photoshop? I was like, that's so dumb. Wouldn't we use PowerPoint or Word for that? And I was just like, what is the point of this? We're not learning anything with doing a bloody text document in Photoshop. And that's when I just lost hope. I was like, this is stupid. I passed the year and I just thought that it's pointless. But that's the point. Stuff like that is just not really worth it. I think coming out of it now, looking back on it, I didn't really learn too much. Yeah, I learned a few more features, but I just didn't really. A lot of it was just PowerPoints, because you had to submit PowerPoints to these units online, and they had to be checked because they said these things. We described how to do it, and I'm like, describing how to do things isn't learning. You know what I mean? I think it's really silly. Just because you have a piece of paper saying you described how to do this means you can do that. I'm like, nah, that doesn't mean that. You know what I mean? And now, you know, now going into uni quick because we're running out of time. But again, I know in uni, uni you do really learn stuff, we'll be honest. Like, if you want to become a doctor or a dentist, you do need to go to uni, and you do actually learn stuff in university. University is hard. People do work hard in university. But I mean, the outcome of it, a lot of people who are overqualified and they don't know what to do with themselves is kind of pointless, because, you know, they kind of get lost after they finish uni because they don't know what to do, and they're just overqualified idiots who end up in, like, part-time job. You know, they've done all that studying and they don't have any life skills because they're overqualified. They don't know what any common sense is, and you do see it. They haven't got a clue what they're doing or anything like that, and it's, I don't know, they're just overqualified, and I don't know, they just don't know what to do with themselves. And again, people who do study doctrines, who study dentists, who do go on to do that, fair enough, but all them years you've supposedly learned stuff in primary school, high school and college, it's just been irrelevant. And obviously everyone takes a different path, and certain stuff is relevant to different paths and stuff, but just think about it, guys. You know, It is varied and it is interesting. So let me guys, let me know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments, guys, because it's always good to get your feedback and your opinions. You know, let me know what you learned, or if you learned pointless stuff, or teachers made you copy from books and stuff. But yeah, as always, guys, thank you for watching, and as always, I will see you all later.